Hello, LTD. Can you handle another? Are you sure? I don't know. All right, let me just say this to start. LTD, take a deep breath. I want to hear you right now. Take a deep breath in and out and prepare yourself for this year.
Well, thank you for that warm welcome. We're Toby and Mia, and it is an honor to be here tonight. Has this been incredible? This is the most amazing conference. Thank you, Larry and Pam. Thank you, Joe and Mary Beth, for your leadership. We're honored to be here tonight, but we are so excited to be here. And we're sharing the stage with some amazing greats and legends and heroes in our life, and it's been such an incredible journey. But we are sponsored by Toby's parents, Diamonds Gary and Nancy Ayers, coached by 100K Strong, Larry and Pam Winters. She was phenomenal tonight. We love you, Pammy. You're the best. But it has been such an incredible journey. And, you know, we have three beautiful girls. Two of them, Grace and Faith, are here tonight with all of us as brand new IBOs on their journey to platinum, and we're so proud of them for sure. But we feel like we're just getting started. We're so grateful for the opportunity to be here right now in this day, in this moment, in this time. It is an unbelievable time to chase a big dream together.
It really is, and I feel like that this weekend is a history-making weekend. Do you guys feel that too?
Yes.
We have a saying on our team, it's Hit M, and it means history in the making. And this event, this weekend, what is happening across the team, I personally believe that it is a history-making weekend. It's gonna be a history-making year. And this is just one of the beginnings, and we're seeing something incredibly special this weekend.
Absolutely. Are we doing it? What are we doing?
I don't know.
So Toby, my husband, has this saying. It's called Hit M, and that's history in the making. We have it on our hats. We have it in our heart. It is history in the making. We're doing that every day. And can you say it with me, LTD team? Can you say Hit M? History in the making. What? We love you guys. But we're going to get into our talk right now. But I get to talk about tonight, which I'm so excited, 5 habits that have governed over our success in this business. And there's been so much covered, and it's been so amazing, but there's a couple things that we committed to, and we stayed steady, and we just focused on, because we got started, we were newlyweds. I got pregnant with Gracie 2 months after we got married, and we started our business. So our habits, we had to create some new habits. I'm not going to go into our background story, but we had to create some new habits getting on this team. And the first thing is we learned to be great students. And you've learned so much this weekend, but the number one thing that was so important to us, be students of this business. Be professionals in this industry. You know, this was going to be our career. This was going to be our lifetime of success. And so, you know, when I got on stage, I couldn't even say my name. Like, I would get emotional. I'd get so excited about our journey. And, you know, in the beginning, I would put all the pressure on Toby to teach me everything. It was like he was supposed to be the LTD audio, right? I was like pushing the button to play, and he wasn't playing, right? He's like, Mia, I am not your source. Studying the audios in this system and the diamonds on this team and the rubies and the emeralds, I learned how to plug into the system. And what was the skill I needed to own from 0 to platinum? And so I got good at focusing on the couple skills that I needed to own going platinum. And I think Paul talked a little bit about it earlier, but talking about, you know, what was it that I needed to become a professional? And really it was serving, learning how to serve, study the system, but also learn how to serve and transfer it. I think so many people, you know, they think they can just sponsor someone, listen to some audios and send them on their way and just have this expectancy that it's been transferred. No, the leadership is the way it is because how much a Mary Beth poured into her team, how much a Pam Winters poured into her team and showed it by example. You know, number 2, we kept our word. The power of showing up. You know, you've heard about meetings. Well, Toby and I learned early on, you know, showing up together as a couple for the no-shows. Because even if they didn't show up, we still showed up to serve our new IBO and to show them what it looked like to be committed and to give them that example. This was our business. We had to show up for our business. It was priority. Number 3, we learned to have discipline over our highest priorities in life. And our highest priorities was this is a people business. And when you're in a people business, not only did we have to fully accept the responsibility of growing and changing, because yes, although we were growing, we had a lot of things that we weren't trying to hide, but we were in the process of overcoming those things. But we didn't showcase that, but we showcased what we were overcoming and how we were growing and how we were changing. And so we showed up. You know, we learned to be predictable in all areas of our life, and we fell in love with our people. We fell in love with our team and committed at the highest level. Right when they got started, there's so many stories I can't go into. But number 4, we committed to building a great family. And you've heard it all weekend that this is a family business. This truly is a family business. We have 3rd generations in the room building the business tonight. And it's so cool that they're learning from all of our heroes. So what you do matter, and it has such a huge ripple effect. And because I was building a family legacy, I had to look at Toby when we got started, not put the pressure on him, but take pressure off and learn to see Toby how he was overcoming, because I wanted him to look at me that way. I didn't want him to look at me at all the mistakes I was making and overcoming. He spoke belief over me. He spoke expectance over me, and the mistakes were the lessons. You know, we still make mistakes today, you know, but it's those are the lessons. Those were the valleys that we had to go through. 7 years ago, we went through some big valleys, but you know what? We never looked at each other as we were defeated or we've lost. No, there was an opportunity to step out, to learn, and to help people have those breakthroughs. Number 6, we wanted every aspect of our lives to improve. And we're still like that today. And not to be perfect, but to give people hope. You know, when they're going through a struggle, can they count on us? Can they you know, we're building up others. We're in the business of building up others. Number 1 in our home. Like, if you don't own it, it's hard to have it, right? And if you're not doing it, it's hard to believe it and see it in others. But these are just the 5 things that we cared about the most on our journey to platinum and beyond, and to this day. And you know, whatever you decide to care about, you go back to. So maybe there's a couple things that you're like, you know what, I need to prioritize a little bit better. What do I want most this year? How do I want the outcome to look? Over the next couple months, how can I change and get better and show up for ourselves, for our business, and for our dreams? The deeper you care, the more disciplined you'll become over it. You know, it wasn't something, they didn't have to tell us and give us a checklist what to do, but the deeper we cared about the conviction of where we were going, the next vision we had, the next dream, the more we were committed, the more our life reflected that. But we're so proud of you. I can't wait to hear my awesome husband. You are amazing, and you are my handsome prince, so I love you. I bow to you. I'm so excited for you to hear this amazing guy. Here's my awesome EDC going double, Toby Ayers.
I truly feel like this year, it's going to be a year that we're going to have to really settle in. I think tonight, the thing that I want to share with you is what I would consider this internal fortitude. It's like the inner citadel of a mindset. And it really covers 3 different areas. It covers how we think. I mean, Larry has taught me this. My dad has taught me this over the years. All of the things that we've gone through over the years has just been really a reflection of how they've shared, how they've shown their life, how they've done things over the years. And I've just been a beneficiary, a recipient of their good decisions. It's because proximity has been my guide. We've decided to spend more time with people that had the things in life that we wanted to have. We decided not to make excuses, but it really is broken out into 3 different areas. It's how we think. See, our thinking is going to determine a lot. Now, many of you think, okay, well, I get that, how I think, but you're putting great stuff in, but many people have what I would consider a negative bias thinking. You know, something happens, like you're gonna come out of here, and if you have negative bias thinking, then the problems are gonna create more thinking about the problems that's gonna create more problems. And so how do we move from a negative bias thinking into a positive thinking bias? Well, I think we need to reframe how we think about things that are a struggle or might be a problem. And it starts here. It starts with telling ourselves, if we see it this way, because you have so many examples before us, you're gonna have so many examples after us. After we get a chance to share tonight, you're gonna hear a couple that we admire, we respect. He's one of my best friends. I see him and I see the things they've done, and I say to myself, gosh, I've got things so good. We all have so many blessings, and we all have so many things that we can think to ourselves, hey, we're grateful for that. However, it doesn't matter if we don't reframe problems. See, all the problems in the world have really created the success of the world. I mean, you think about it, the problems are the solution. You know how we think about our problems. So if we see problems as a problem, that negative bias thinking, moving to a place where you say, you know what? These problems are actually gonna create our success. I mean, think about it. We could not have this meeting in Larry and Pam's home this weekend. I would have liked to. I know Larry wouldn't, but we couldn't do that. So because this Coliseum allowed us to solve a problem of having a meeting too big for a house, we're gonna leave a lot of money here, right? You solve a problem. Problems are the solution. A dentist is solving a problem. And the bigger the problems, the bigger the solutions. And the bigger the solutions, the bigger the opportunity to create an income. So when I think about what we've moved to in our thinking, if we can move our thinking there, then our actions can start taking over. In my opinion, as we've moved into a place of learning how to see things differently, the action, I should say the attitude, selecting an attitude, the attitude of a word that's called equanimity. Equanimity is being calm in the storm. I saw Mike Gallo go through that. He was calm in the storm. He didn't make irrational decisions in a temporary state, in a temporary season. We saw Tony not make any irrational decisions. They stayed the course. Equanimity, being calm in the midst of the chaos. The Stoics like to say that it's not removing the emotion from it, but it's removing the negative emotion from it. Are we thinking like that? And truly, I think it really starts, like you start thinking about what equanimity is. Well, what's the opposite of that? I'll say this, that passivity is the opposite of it. And also being aggressive is the opposite of that. Equanimity sits right in the middle. And so we've learned and seen that so many people in their thinking and then the attitudes that they take, you can take tons of action. You know, when you're thinking about, man, I did how many QIs? I did how many meetings? I showed how many people these products and I've gotten what kind of result? We should all ask ourselves, how can we be better? So on the passivity side, a lot of people just let everything kind of run its course. Well, without equanimity, being calm, realizing there are gonna be challenges that people have in seeing a new opportunity for the first time. They are gonna have negative in the world that's gonna come at them. But if you're not calm enough to be confident to ask them or prompt them into these questions, then what are we gonna do? We're gonna miss the opportunity to be able to bring something confidently to them, knowing what we know about business, knowing how to lead them, how to challenge them, how to listen to them if we're not listening. And so on the other side of that, being aggressive. But a lot of times we're too aggressive in our approach because you start learning the answers. You start learning how to really answer all the questions and be that confident person that takes people through. You go, I know what I'm doing and this is what it looks like. That confidence you're so good that people in a lot of cases, they feel like, well, you don't need me. It seems like you have all the answers. And so in the middle of that is a place where you're learning how to slow down. And you're learning how to do this. We learn how to do this in our marriage. We learn how to do this in our business. We learn how to do this in many other areas of our life. But it's an attitude we select. We can select the wrong attitudes. And many times we do. And when we select the wrong attitudes, then we take the wrong actions, and the wrong actions create the wrong outcomes. And so over the last 7 years, we've had a lot of things we had to go through and get better. We had a lot of things. Our business was broken. We were broken. And we felt like, man, we know and we believe in seasons. Let me hear you if you're going through a great season right now. Just overall, let me hear you. Well, that might be temporary. I hate to say that, but it might be temporary. You know what? It's about going through the seasons. Seasons come and go. And we know that. We had a season where we knew this is not going to last. I remember it was frustrating watching and learning and listening to people on stage when we were hurting and we were frustrated and we were ready to get out of the season we were in. And I think many times more people are in that season than are not. But I feel a sense of these seasons changing for many people. You can just see it. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in this weekend. You can feel it. Why? Because all of the speakers, if you haven't noticed, is just talking about overcoming and the struggle and the victory. And they're talking about winning in the midst of it all. You know, we saw a couple on our team hurting and broken, Kelly and Jeanette Bremer, and we said, we're not going to stay here. We have seasons of great victory ahead of us. And what do? Man, we dove into, the growth. We had to apologize to each other. We had things that we needed to get right for our relationship. We couldn't do enough work to succeed. We needed things to adjust and change. And I don't know if that scares you, but I'll tell you this, so much of success isn't about the physical effort that you're going to put into it. We saw Tom and Alicia at their low season. We saw other organizations that have been with us for a little while with no success. So if you're part of that crowd that says, we stayed together, you stayed for a reason. You stayed for a reason, and such is a time of this for the season to open up some major opportunities. I can't imagine how Larry and Pam feel about this organization because we have a very small team. We're just getting started. We have a lot to do. We are by no means at the end of anything. We're really just at the beginning. I can't imagine how they feel. But are you going to stay with your friends? Are you going to stay and fight the good fight? For us, we are. And truly, as we get to a place where, most of us have this optimism that we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to make this year the best year of our lives. Well, what if this year isn't the best year maybe financially, but it might be the best year of growth? It might be the best year of restoring relationships. It might be the best year of customer volume and getting your profitability up, and seeing all the success should raise up your confidence and belief. But we can only control our thinking, and how we think matters. And then after we're thinking properly, I believe then we choose our attitudes. How are we going to respond to the things that are happening to us? We have to respond in a way where we said, we can't control everything. Matter of fact, most things that happen in your life, you're not the instigator of it. You're not the creator of it. It happens to you. But then believing that is for a reason. We don't run from the giants. Thank God David didn't run from Goliath. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't have been King David. He didn't run, he fought, he won. He's a hero because of his giant. What if he went around the mountain? Well, you're seeing some mountains in your life. We're seeing some mountains in our life. We saw massive mountains 7, 8, 9 years ago. We were like, you know what? This too shall pass. In every adversity, the seed of equal or greater benefit. There's something bigger that's supposed to happen here, and we embrace. Matter of fact, if you would have asked me back then when we were going through some of our darkest times, I would have told you, I'm glad it happened. And I'll end with this. Don't get a broken heart. Bring yourself to a place where your optimism, the things that you're made for, the things that you're meant to do, doesn't get stunted and broken because your heart gets broken on a time frame. We can't even control that. I couldn't control when we requalified Diamond. I couldn't control what happened after that. I didn't know. I couldn't give her the answer. And if she asked me for the answer, I would have said this: I don't know, but I'll tell you this. We are destined to win. We are going to win. And these diamonds, our friends, we're destined to win, baby. We're destined to win, Mayak. You're my brother, man. I was there when you were hurt, and you were there when I was hurting. That's brotherhood. Thank God. Man, we were watching the Cosacks win. We were watching the Nathans win. We were watching the Winstons win. We were watching Brian and McCraft. They said, oh, you guys did so. We always talk about your story. When they were telling us that, we were hurting, man, because their team was blowing up. But that gave us optimism. Thank you, God, for people that are winning and they're focused. They're not spraying their time. What you own, you bring in. We are thinking about where we were going, and they were giving us that roadmap. They were giving us that path. They were giving us an example of that. I want to end with 50 seconds, and I want to read this to you. This is something important to me. You can use it as an affirmation if you don't have faith. If you do have faith, you can use it as a prayer. This is massive because I think this represents what we all should think about and what we should all do. It says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to have the courage to change the things I can, and to have the wisdom to know the difference. LTD team, we're just getting started, baby.
For existing IBOs only, not for use with prospects. The success